If you compress something too tightly, it might very well give way. And that's precisely what is occurring, at least for now, in Korea regarding gold and silver. Let's delve into it as we investigate further. It appears there is no lack of activity in the precious metals sector overall, particularly in Korea. This information is making its way through the channels and was initially reported by Scottsdale Mint regarding Comco exhausting its silver and gold reserves. However, it seems the issue is even more extensive than that. I have three distinct sources from Korea that I'll present to you, shedding light on how banks are ceasing the distribution of silver and gold bars due to soaring demand. This is the ultimate constraint unfolding, not just in terms of what we observe in the markets, with significant amounts of gold and silver being transferred to the United States, but now in Korea, it is indeed impacting the retail sector as well. The commercial gold and silver markets are essentially at a standstill right now, virtually collapsing as their supplies have been depleted. Banks are discontinuing the sale of silver bars amid a surge in demand, driven by escalating global uncertainties triggered by U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies, industry representatives stated on Friday. As reported by the Korea Times, financial institutions had previously suspended the distribution of gold bars, which have recently emerged as the most sought-after safe haven asset. Here in the United States, we don't face that issue. There is an ample supply of bullion, particularly silver. Nevertheless, we might witness a shift in the United States as well, especially concerning silver. While gold has reached unprecedented levels, silver remains relatively undervalued at present, particularly based on recent trends. And of course, if you're considering acquiring gold or silver, it's crucial to grasp the concept of dollar cost averaging and stay mindful of your financial constraints. Now, due to the spike in gold and silver values and the subsequent surge in demand, which has surpassed available supply, the Korean Minting and Security Printing Corporation recently suspended its provision of gold bars to banks. The Korean Gold Exchange had already ceased offering 10G and 100G gold bars through banks since October, though it continued to supply 1 kilogram bars. However, silver prices are also on the rise, particularly in other regions. In Korea, the exchange formally informed banks about the discontinuation of silver bar supply just a few days ago. It was also noted that the remaining stock of 1 kilogram gold bars will no longer be obtainable. That's right. I don't recall ever witnessing such an event in the Korean market before. However, if any of you have insights or first-hand experience regarding past occurrences of this nature, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The major financial institutions impacted by the silver bar supply halt include KB Kookmin Bank, Shinhan Bank, Woori Bank, and NH Nongyup Bank. Meanwhile, Hana Bank does not deal in silver bars. As gold recently attained record-breaking prices, a scarcity of gold bars followed. Consequently, investors turned to silver bars as an alternative, causing a substantial rise in demand. An official from one of the major banks indicated that some institutions continued selling gold and silver bars by depleting their remaining inventory or procuring them from alternative providers. However, sales are expected to cease shortly. Once existing stock is depleted, that will be the end of it. Currently, I am uncertain about the availability of coins similar to those displayed here, but it appears that all bars have effectively vanished from the Korean market. Since Trump's election as U.S. president, the appetite for secure assets has intensified, elevating prices. International gold futures have repeatedly achieved record-breaking values this year. Another source offers further details, as reported by Mail Business newspaper, Korea's leading economic publication. The Korean Gold Exchange and the Korean Mint allegedly issued an official statement indicating their decision to discontinue the provision of silver bars, which were previously considered an alternative investment, while still being unable to meet the overwhelming demand for gold. They also instructed commercial banks to suspend gold bar sales. This signifies a breakdown in the Korean gold and silver market, plain and simple. As per commercial banks like Woori Bank on the 14th, the gold exchange formally announced the termination of silver bar supply on the 13th. Additionally, it was confirmed that some of the remaining 1 kilogram gold bars were also no longer available. 1 kilogram of gold had exceeded 160 million won based on the market price on the 14th. Some stock was available because it required significant investment, but even that has now been exhausted. Following Donald Trump's election, the demand for safe haven investments, including gold and the US dollar, has escalated, pushing prices to new heights. And so, that's the scenario unfolding there. The third source I have comes from businesskorea.co.kr. As gold reached record highs, investors turned to silver, resulting in a supply strain. The Korean Minting Corporation halted the sale of gold bars to banks as of February 12th, setting off a chain reaction within the precious metals industry. This decision intensified demand for silver bars, creating a supply-demand imbalance that effectively forced banks to stop their sales. According to reports, the Korean Gold Exchange sent official documentation to major banks, including the ones previously mentioned. A commercial bank official confirmed receipt of these documents, stating, "It is accurate that we have received the notification, but discussions regarding the timing of the sales suspension are still ongoing." Another banking representative added, "We are fulfilling only the orders that were placed recently and have ceased selling both silver and gold bars as of today." That's astonishing. It's remarkable news for the entire nation's precious metal sector, as large-scale investors find themselves unable to participate in the market. Once again, I'd love to know how much of these rounds and coins are available in Korea and whether the Comco Mint will continue producing gold and silver in alternative forms, particularly the style shown here. It's highly probable that whatever remains will be swiftly acquired. That's truly incredible. What an era we are experiencing. The Korean Minting Corporation's decision to suspend gold bar sales isn't entirely unprecedented, as we discussed earlier. Since last October, the Korean Gold Exchange had already restricted banks from selling 10G and 100G gold bars, though 1 kilogram bars remained in circulation. However, the current market conditions have compelled certain banks to exhaust their remaining supplies or explore alternative providers to sustain gold bar sales, albeit with an inconsistent supply. In other words, overseas sources still offer gold bars, but domestic inventory has been depleted, at least in bar form, which is a critical component of the investment market there. A commercial bank representative remarked, "Although selling 1 kilogram bars isn't entirely impossible, the supply remains volatile, leading us to suspend sales altogether." This statement highlights the difficulties banks encounter in maintaining a steady flow of precious metals under unpredictable market conditions. Historical trends suggest that during economic downturns, the demand for precious metals often skyrockets, resulting in shortages. This pattern is evident in the current market, where regulatory interventions and market responses to price shifts further complicate the landscape. Wow, this is quite something. Now, just to put this into perspective, the Western markets function differently from Korea's. Nonetheless, it's significant news. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you found this video enlightening, informative, and valuable. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. My goal is to reach 100,000 subscribers by year's end. With that, I extend my deepest gratitude to all of you for tuning in and encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Your comments are very valuable to us. Please make a small comment.